The train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio with vinyl chloride is a local environmental disaster that actually can affect all of us directly or indirectly because vinyl chloride is in all things plastic. So I took a deep dive into vinyl chloride and read hundreds of pages of published scientific literature and government documents to really understand vinyl chloride and its implications on our health to make this video. I'm going to share with you what I learned in these next two videos. In part one, let's first talk about vinyl chloride in industry and in your environment and how it affects your body. And in part two, I'll focus on how to minimize your exposure and what you can do if you already have been exposed. Before I start, the point of these videos is not to create conspiracies, fear, or blame. So if you have any questions or comments, please share them respectfully and I will do my best to answer them or to point you to the right reference. Every year, 27 million tons of vinyl chloride are used to make plastics around the world called vinyl. Vinyl is made from vinyl chloride, aka these scientific names, which is a colorless, sweet-smelling, flammable, toxic gas. If you can smell it, there's probably 3,000 parts per million in the air, but you can taste it in water at 3.4 parts per million. Vinyl, the plastic, which was discovered accidentally by a German chemist in 1872 and was commercialized by an American company in 1926. Look around you and you will see products made from vinyl chloride everywhere. PVC water pipes to the vinyl flooring in your kitchen, your plastic shower curtains, the coatings on your wires that conducts your electricity, the seats in your car, your raincoat, your old vinyl records, and even that plastic spatula in your kitchen is made from vinyl chloride. You are surrounded by vinyl. However, our government banned the use of the gas vinyl chloride in 1974. And thank God, because it was in hairsprays, cosmetics, coolants, and propellant spray cans. Vinyl chloride was once tested to be used as an anesthetic until it was discovered to cause irregular heartbeats. You won't believe it, but people actually volunteered in the 1960s to be exposed to vinyl chloride in chambers for up to 7.5 hours. They reported mild headache and dryness in the eyes and nose at low concentrations, which went away when they came out, but they tested a wide range of concentrations from extremely high doses that actually left people with persistent symptoms about 30 minutes after they were exposed. And it wasn't until 50 years later, in the 1970s, that people realized it caused cancer. Touching, eating, and inhaling vinyl chloride is cancerous. It targets 4 organs in your body, from your brain to your lung to your liver and your blood and lymph circulation. Short-term exposure really targets your nervous system, and it's super toxic at really high levels as it can basically kill your cells. Repeated exposures give different diseases depending on how long you've been exposed, but we know it can cause delayed cancers. And we know this because vinyl chloride factory workers got diseases. This article talks about 3 rare liver cancers called angiosarcoma of the liver that was diagnosed in 1974 amongst U.S. vinyl chloride reactor cleaners who spent about 3 to 5 decades using spatulas and hammers and chisels to clean PVC plastics off of reactors in the 1930s. And this exposed them to high concentrations of vinyl chloride, over 1,000 parts per million daily. And they got vinyl chloride disease that included earache, headache, dizziness, unclear vision, fatigue, lack of appetite, nausea, insomnia, breathlessness, stomach ache, pain in the liver and spleen area, pain and tingling in the arms and legs, cold sensations in the extremities, loss of the libido, and weight loss. As you can see, it causes a lot of symptoms. However, severe toxicity caused cardiac arrest, unconsciousness, and death. And this happened to 2 workers who were accidentally exposed to super high toxic levels. Vinyl chloride changed the workers' bodies on the outside too, tightening their skin and their fingers, destroying their bones, and damaging their blood vessels and nerves to make them turn blue. Really, just inhaling vinyl chloride is toxic, let alone touching it. In the 1970s, because humans were getting cancers, scientists confirmed its carcinogenic properties in a variety of animals. And since 1974, there have been no further cases of this rare hepatic angiosarcoma in workers due to the regulation of workplace air levels. Keep in mind, because few people are exposed to high concentrations over a long period of time, the published scientific literature is pretty slim. It's mostly based on autopsy reports, surveys, as well as reviewing death certificates on thousands of vinyl chloride factory workers. However, I found this article, which was a 25-year follow-up describing 21 patients. 19 of the 21 patients had cancer in the liver, and 13 of them were confirmed to be angiosarcoma. To give a perspective, angiosarcoma is a super rare diagnosis with about 400 cases around the world. And although we don't know why 75% of patients get angiosarcoma, we do know that these 5 things cause angiosarcoma. Those 21 people were exposed to extremely high levels from work for about 4 years to 21 years. And these patients, they never received medical care prior to having symptoms, which means that by the time they already had symptoms, they had advanced cancer. And this is why prevention is better than early diagnosis, which is obviously better than late diagnosis when it comes to cancer. The exact mechanism of how vinyl chloride causes cancer is not really known. Since vinyl chloride actually gets broken down into other chemicals by your liver, they're called metabolites. Those metabolites are suspected to cause cancer by directly binding and breaking your DNA. It also rapidly depletes your body's detoxification pathway called glutathione. The glutathione redox system is vital for your life. Every cell has this system to prevent inflammation called oxidative stress that damages your cells. Toxins surround you, and your body knows it. You have organs designated to deal with toxins. They are called your liver and your kidneys. And your liver is miraculous. It's like a salamander tail. It has the ability to regenerate most of itself if you remove the poison. But if you overwhelm these organs on a daily basis, whether they are industrial chemicals, prescription medications, toxins from plants, or toxins in your foods, the liver and kidney can be irreversibly damaged. And as doctors, for acute crisis, we can try to support your body. We can try to remove the poison or replenish the glutathione redox system with high doses of N-acetylcysteine, but it doesn't always work. Keep in mind, the glutathione redox system requires multiple components, including vitamins and minerals like riboflavin and selenium. And all these ingredients are found in nutritious foods that you can have access to on a daily basis if you buy the right foods to eat. Your foods are actually the building blocks for your body to repair its damage, and that's why it's really important to eat good quality foods. The Ohio train derailment was not the first accident in the United States. In 2012, another train derailment occurred in Paulsboro, New Jersey, spilling vinyl chloride as well, 23 gallons of it, into a creek called Mantua Creek. Officials tracked the local residents for a couple years and concluded that if their symptoms resolved, they were unlikely to have long-term health effects. Now, I couldn't verify that because I can't find data on these patients. They haven't published any further follow-up. However, if you know of any further information, please let us know in the comments. These OSHA workplace safety rules are actually a good start to make sure you're not exposed to toxic doses of vinyl chloride in your neighborhood if you're concerned. Now, before those 2 train accidents in America, the first environmental spill of vinyl chloride actually happened in 1996 in Schönebeck, Germany, in which a train carrying vinyl chloride derailed and exploded, burning for several days and releasing free vinyl chloride and its byproducts into the atmosphere. A cloud of vinyl chloride remained over the groundwater for several weeks. German scientists measured chromosomal damage in the white blood cells of 58 residents. Half were exposed to the accident and the other half were not exposed. The exposed group actually showed more DNA damage. Now, besides vinyl chloride having these catastrophic events, it can actually leach in the groundwater. The combustion made also makes dioxins, and which are also highly toxic and can damage your immune system, disrupt your hormones, and cause cancer. I'm going to do a separate dioxin video, but briefly, dioxins aren't used commercially, but can be made as a byproduct of heat. So forest fires and erupting volcanoes make dioxins. And this is why your fireplace, cigarettes, and barbecue grills are all toxic when you light it up. Dioxins, unlike vinyl chloride, stay in the environment for a long time and can affect your food chain and concentrate in plants and animals, especially in the fatty tissue. Actually, more than 90% of human exposure is through the intake of animal fats, mainly meat, dairy products, fish, and shellfish. And just because you don't live next to an industrial disaster doesn't mean you should relax. When industrial cleaners called PCEs and TCEs are put in landfills, the bacteria in the landfill actually can make them into vinyl chloride, and that can leach into your groundwater. It comes out as a gas every time you open your tap water. And if you live over a landfill, you may want to get your water tested and consider ventilating your air by opening your windows after you shower. Now, if you're drinking tap water without a filter, consider letting that water sit a day covered by cloth to allow unwanted gases to evaporate. Of course, filtering your water would be even better. Now, in the air, vinyl chloride is actually destroyed and it has a half-life about 23 hours. That means it takes about a day to get rid of half the dose. In about 5 days, it should be gone from the air. And guess what it breaks down into? Hydrochloric acid, formaldehyde, and carbon dioxide. So embalming agents and global warming causes. Doesn't sound so good. Unfortunately, vinyl chloride doesn't stay where it is used, made, or disposed. Like I said, it can contaminate your groundwater, contaminate soils, aquifers, wells, especially if you live near landfills or industrial disposal sites. And anyone living close to a factory using vinyl chloride, just know they are allowed to release a certain amount in the environment in the United States. It is known that waste disposal sites of vinyl chloride have also contaminated the environment through improper disposal and leaks. And this is why Michigan and Texas, they weren't so happy when they received surprise shipments of toxic waste from Ohio. It is soluble in water, and that's why it can leach in groundwater. So Google your water quality report by typing in your zip code, and you will see how much vinyl chloride is in your local water. 2 parts per billion or 2 micrograms per liter is allowed by the Safe Water Drinking Act since 1989. It is not 0. I hate to tell you this, but food packages, beverages, cosmetics, and medication packages may also expose you to potentially low levels of vinyl chloride. The FDA allows 5 to 50 parts per million, depending on the exact chemical. And I don't really know if these low levels are harmful or not, but if you're aiming for 0 vinyl chloride exposure, that may be impossible. However, you can definitely reduce your exposure, and there are things that you can do after you've been exposed to help your body detoxify, which I will cover in part 2. Please join me there.